Hi. How you doing? It's Thursday, July 30th, 2020. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dancing Dan Kuntz, apparently. It's good to see you. Lots going on today. Very busy show. The heat. The heat is on. I just quoted Glenn Frey. And now if I had sung The Heat is On, I would have to pay the estate of Glenn Frey. Don't want to do that. That's the big story. The excessive heat warning remains in effect, and on top of all that, they've issued a fire weather watch. A distinct possibility that we are going to break some record high temperatures that are not that old. As a matter of fact, complete weather forecast details are coming up. Weather in a word, hot. There, I said it. Got a lot of weather to talk about because some television stations just talk about the weather, but here at the NCW Life channel, we really talk about the weather. Going to be warm. A lot of news to get to. A significant Wenatchee School Board virtual meeting held last night. Looks like they're moving forward with online-only classes when school begins on August 26th. That'll be our top news story coming up in just a couple of minutes. Good news for you anglers who'd like to fish for sockeye salmon at Lake Wenatchee. It's coming back. I'm coming back soon. Mariners won. We like that. Seahawks reported to training camp. Things are looking not too bad in the world of sports and everything else that you need to know. All the stuff that you're used to. We got an opinion from Mike McNaughty today in history. Also, the obscure holidays, some celebrity birthdays. And in the back half of the hour, she was kind enough to come by and visit me yesterday morning. We taped it. Dr. Shawna Bais from Paws and Claws, Veterinary Hospital. The heat is hard enough for us human beings. Imagine what it'd be like to be outside in this weather in the afternoon and have a jacket on. That's what it's like for dogs. We're going to talk about dogs and pets and heat and how to keep your dog and cat and all your furry friends safe in this very, very warm weather. That's with Dr. Shawna Bais. In the back half of the program, let's begin our tour around the valley. There are a few high clouds out there. Things a tad kind of hazy. It's warm. It's 73 degrees. As much as I hate to say this, they're a little worried about some dry thunderstorms possible tonight. Not a big chance, only about a 20% chance. It will be late tonight. It'll be 9, 10, 11 o'clock or so tonight. But there's a chance out there, and that's why they issued a fire weather watch. Dry thunderstorms is the last thing we need right now. Combination of the heat, very low relative humidity. Right now it's at 40%. Normally this time of the day it's in the 50s. The relative humidity is usually about 54, 55%. It's already only 40%. Going to go down from there. So the heat index values, we talked about that yesterday, combination of the actual temperature and the relative humidity could be dangerously hot. Whew, don't want that. Sunrise this morning, by the way, at 5:37. Sunset 8:36. That's right, we're below the 15-hour mark now. 14 hours and 59 minutes of daylight. And for the record, we only hit 98 yesterday. That was our official high. But again, as I mentioned before, that's measured up at Pangborn Memorial Airport. That's where the equipment is. So 98 was our official high. Omak hit 103. Moses Lake hit 101. On Wednesday, Ephrata topped off at 98. We are going to be in triple digits. Our record high temperature for the state is 103. I think we're going to get there. Again, forecast details are coming up. Camera number 2. Where are we off to, Megan? Let's pay a visit to, that looks inviting, Lake Chelan, Lower Butte? Upper Butte of Lake Chelan. Well, well, well. There you go, looking up the lakes. That kind of threw me for a loop there because sometimes we use the lower, it looks like the Lower Butte camera, but it's actually the Upper Butte camera. Looks like it's just a little breezy up there. It's kind of moving around a little bit. Of course, these towers are designed to have a little give, a little sway into the wind. Lake Chelan, I'm sure, will be quite busy, but starting next Saturday, things are going to change for you recreationists up at Lake Chelan. We'll have that in the news. Good morning to the lake. Camera number 3. It is a beautiful shot of the Apple Annie's camera looking over beautiful Kashmir, Washington. The Wenatchee River looks mighty inviting, but that's really not a pretty good idea. At certain times, we've had a number of incidents involving rafters, including a couple of fatalities already this year. We don't want that to happen anymore. I know it gets hot and people are drawn to the water. It's just human nature, but you got to take it. You got to take it with a great deal of caution. Good morning to Kashmir. You can see the Riverside Park and the community center and most of beautiful Kashmir from that view, high atop the bluff overlooking Apple Annie's. And camera number 4 It's a bunch of trees and some mountains. Oh, that's Nanapoc? Wow, okay. Hi, Nanapoc Ridge. How you doing up there? That looks inviting. If you want to escape the heat, as we talked about before, you go up in elevation where the air is a little bit thinner. You got more chances of getting some shade. It's still going to get hot for everybody who's kidding who, and that's one of those areas that are susceptible to dry lightning tonight. That's really concerning me. I just don't, because dry lightning is bad. There's no rain. I mean, it just hits. It can start a fire with no precipitation associated with it. We'll keep a close eye on that. So there we go. That's our tour around north central Washington. We got some significant weather information to send your way. First of all, record heat possible for the next couple of days. You see our forecast high for today and tomorrow, 105, and there you see the records. Record high for today is 103. It's been set twice. We did that in 2014, as you see there, also in 2003. We got up to 103 degrees, so it looks like we are going to break records today and again tomorrow for the Wenatchee Valley, as you can see, with a forecast high of 105. That would tie the record of 105 set back in the summer of 1971. So record heat is definitely possible for the next couple of days, and it's dangerous heat. Now, this is a new slide. It looks like the same slide we showed you a couple of days ago and then yesterday, but they have increased the red part. The worst of all of it is purple. If you live in the purple area, that's just so hot. It's like living inside of a fireplace. But most of eastern Washington, as you can see, is going to be dealing with very dangerous heat. So common sense applies here. Drink lots of water, and then drink lots more water, and then even more water still. And if you can avoid the heat, just plain avoid the heat. If you have outdoor plans of any kind, yard work, doing whatever it is you need to do outside, do it now before the heat comes. Because I don't like to say dangerous heat, but it's dangerous heat. Hot and breezy, another thing that we don't need this time of the year. That's one of the reasons that they issued the Fire Weather Watch, which starts today, runs through Friday. For the Wenatchee Valley, our breeziest is really going to be on Friday night. It's going to be fairly clear Friday night, but it's also going to be windy, a wind out of the south. So it's going to be a hot wind, 9 to 14 miles an hour, winds gusting above 20. So tonight we're worried about dry lightning. Tomorrow night we're going to be worrying about the wind and the fire weather concerns. We're already baked dry. We're going to be baked even more dry. And finally, the thunderstorm threat. Yeah. Best chance for us today in the Cascades, in the areas around to the west of the Wenatchee Valley and up near the Lake Chelan area. Those high peaks could be susceptible to a dry lightning strike. That's why they've elevated the fire weather conditions. Then that chance of a dry lightning continues tonight for most of our viewing area, and then it decreases on Friday. The best chance for some dry lightning is actually to the north of us. Up in the Omak-Okanagan area, they're already dealing, of course, with a couple of fires up there. They got the Anglin fire and the Green fire, and they're making good headway, but they don't need new fires, so a dry lightning strike is a possibility. Right now, it's about a 20% chance of a dry lightning strike, of a thunderstorm or even some dry lightning overnight tonight for the Wenatchee Valley. A better chance in other locations, so there you go. Patriot Plumbing, Heating and Cooling gives your home a hug from the National Weather Service. Hot. 105 today. If we get to 105, and we're on our way, it's 73. If we get to 105, that would be a new record, as I already mentioned. 76 for the overnight low tonight. There's no relief from the heat. If you don't have air conditioning, it must be miserable. 105 on Friday. If we get to there, it would tie the record high for the last day of July. A little bit cooler, but everything's relative on Saturday. And then Sunday, slightly cooler still. But again, we're not going to get any kind of real break from significant heat until we get to Monday and Tuesday. So a record high is a distinct possibility today. We can tie it tomorrow. We're talking about the possibility tonight of a dry lightning strike. No real wind, but a dry lightning strike for the Wenatchee Valley is possible tonight, spilling into the early hours on Friday afternoon, and Friday night it gets a little windy, and then just in time for the weekend, a little bit of a cool down, but really not much. No escape in the heat. Air conditioning. Whew. Yeah. 10 minutes after the hour, going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have your Thursday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Coming Cleaning home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today, 509-663-1710.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around North Central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special. 11 minutes after the hour, 73 degrees with a few high clouds, 105 our forecast high today, 105 on Friday, still triple digits on Saturday, but not quite that hot. Record high temperatures, a distinct possibility today and tomorrow. We're going to be dealing with the possibility of some dry lightning overnight tonight and windy conditions, unfortunately, on Friday afternoon and Friday night. Here are your headlines. In the Wenatchee School District last night approving a so-called Smart Restart plan that will launch the upcoming school year without classrooms. After hearing from district staff and medical experts, the board decided the COVID-19 pandemic makes in-person classes simply too risky. This fall, students will start classes online August 26th, and as the area progresses in phased reopenings, more students might be admitted to school buildings. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Mark Johnson from Confluence Health started last night's virtual meeting by sketching out the area's current coronavirus situation.
We know that this virus can cause severe and potentially fatal disease in certain individuals who get it. And part of what makes this virus so insidious is that 45% of infections are asymptomatic. And that is why this virus is able to transmit so readily. And we have recently come to learn that children between the ages of 10 and 19 seem to transmit the virus just as effectively as adults do. And it appears that children under the age of 10 transmit the virus about half as effectively as adults. And so that risk has been mitigated up until this time by not having children in school. But obviously, once individuals who potentially can be infected or are asymptomatically infected get into close congregate quarters for extended periods of time, there is a real potential for significant increase in cases. Especially as our public health experts tell us, our current case counts at this time are about 9 times where they're supposed to be for where we're supposed to be at for safe start for going back to school. There is at this time, with a lot of community transmission infections, a real risk of, at this moment, a reservoir within school children in congregate settings leading to significant transmission of infection. We're still learning a lot about this virus. We learn about it every day. It's hard work. We have a lot of really sick patients here in our hospital. And thank goodness there's a lot of people who get this virus who have mild symptoms, but it's incredibly difficult to predict who's going to have mild symptoms. And it's also difficult to predict who's going to be one of those super spreaders. And so the unpredictability of this virus and the way it transmits puts us all in a difficult situation as we think about how to maintain our current healthcare resources. And at this point in our hospital, we are pretty full, not just with COVID patients, but patients with other infectious diseases or even patients who don't have infections. And so I appreciate that this is a complicated situation. I also appreciate that, like me, you're probably incredibly frustrated by it as well.
The superintendent of the Wenatchee School District, Dr. Paul Gordon, told the board in 20 plus years of Education leadership, the decision to restart the school year without students in school buildings is one of the most challenging decisions he's ever had to make.
There is nothing like in-person instruction. We know what a difference we make when students are with us. We know that interaction between a teacher and a student, our staff and our students, is critical to that relationship. I know how important this is. I also, since March 17th, I have been in weekly meetings with health professionals from the region and from throughout Washington and throughout the United States, continuing listening to their recommendations and really being very reflective on each and every one of their comments. And it became very apparent that the risk was too great for us to be sending back our students, even for our youngest students. We've asked those questions. We've asked them directly to the health professionals. And from their perspective, the risks are too great. I've seen the same information as everybody else. It's about a 0.1% death rate amongst young people. For our district, that would be roughly 7 students. As a superintendent, many people think that my number one priority is academics. It's not. My number one role and responsibility and my commitment to the board is to ensure the safety and well-being of our students, of our staff, our parents, and the community at large.
Now, the school district is planning on exploring the ins and outs of the new plan. There'll be a virtual town hall for parents and the public. It'll be held at 6 o'clock next Tuesday, August 4th, and then the board will vote to send its finalized plan on to the state. The Eastmont School District and others in our area, including the Cascade School District in Leavenworth, are formulating similar plans for online-only classes beginning in the fall. Firefighters say they're gaining control over those 2 blazes in northern Washington. The Anglin Fire east of Tonasket declared 50% contained at just over 1,700 acres. All level 3 evacuation notices have been lifted there. Meanwhile, the Green Fire, which is burning in the Tunk Valley, had 90% containment. After burning almost 1,500 acres, evacuation orders in that area dropped from level 3 to level 1 overnight. The Anglin Fire emergency, by the way, was declared eligible for a FEMA emergency grant to help pay for the costs of fire suppression. At its peak on Tuesday, it threatened nearly 200 homes in the Tonasket area. A Quincy man in his 70s has been confirmed as Grant County's 10th COVID-19 death. The Grant County Health District said the man had underlying health issues, passed away at his home. The county reported 32 new coronavirus cases on Tuesday. That brings Grant County's total to 1,117. The health district also reported outbreaks at 2 long-term care facilities in Moses Lake. Columbia Crest Center has had 19 residents and 10 staff members test positive. And Lake Ridge Center has had 3 staff members test positive and 2 residents. Nobody at the facilities have been hospitalized. There are currently 9 Grant County residents hospitalized with COVID-19. Clogged with tourists amongst the pandemic, the city of Chelan is now going to limit access to its public parks. That starts on August 8th. Don Morse Park and Lakeside Park will close to further visitors once their parking lots are full. It's a compromise that was struck on Tuesday night by the City Council after Mayor Bob Getty recommended closing the parks completely on weekends. This comes a week after the state parks at Lake Chelan and Lake Wenatchee began limiting crowds to avoid the spread of COVID-19. The city, by the way, plans to hire a security firm to enforce the restricted access. A long-running addiction recovery clinic in Chelan is going to close, thanks in part to the stresses of coronavirus. Lake Chelan Hospital's board voted last week to shut down Sanctuary at the lake. It's a 14-bed recovery center. It operates with a staff of 9 people. Hospital managers say the pandemic limits the number of clients who can stay there, and most clients arrive from out of state, which could help spread the virus. However, with the rising costs and other addiction services available in the area, Sanctuary is not expected to reopen once the public health emergency passes. Finally, it's been a long time since we heard from our friends at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. They continue operations in a unique way, and they checked in by producing this PSA for us that we're going to show for you right now.
The doors are locked here at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. The halls are dark, and you would think that no one's here. But we are here. Operations just look a little different right now. We value our staff, our volunteers, and our community. We want to keep everyone safe, so we're wearing masks and staffing for social distancing by limiting overlapping shifts. We're monitoring the phones, facilitating adoptions, and surrendering pets by appointment. We continue to provide the resources that pets and the people who love them rely on. Shelter animals still receive the best of care, including specialized services like behavioral programs and medical support. We're continually assessing our capacity for animals at the shelter, and many animals are living with foster families, leaving room here for animals in need of urgent care, such as pets who need temporary shelter because their owners are ill or hospitalized. You can still see our adoptable animals on our website. Just call and make an appointment to meet the pet that catches your eye. If you need other services like the pet pantry, food bank, call us. We're here. If you're in a position to make a donation, the animals appreciate that too. We're here for you, for your pets, and for our community. We're proud to be part of this resilient valley. Together, we will get through this.
Thanks to the Humane Society for sending it our way. We appreciate it. The news with Grant Olson in the anchor chair and Eric Grandstrom with sports will come your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight with a preview of some of the Thursday night stories. Here's Grant.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, we'll bring you the final sign-off of a longtime Douglas County Sheriff's Officer. I'll have your possible record-breaking North Central Washington weather forecast, and Eric Grandstrom will be by with a look at all the day's sports. That and all the day's news coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope you'll join us then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. We appreciate it. Don't forget to get a hold of us. If you got a news tip, you just want to drop us a note and say hi, look at the bottom of your screen. You can go to our Facebook page, drop us a note that way. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. You can click on the Contact Us icon at our homepage at ncwlife.com, or during regular business hours, pick up the phone and give us a call. People still do that as well. Going to take a break. When we come back, sports, the obscure holiday today in history, some celebrity birthdays. Everybody's entitled to my Benotti's opinion, and a conversation with Dr. Shawna Bais from Paws and Claws, keeping your pets safe during this heat wave. It's all coming up. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, my name is Manuel Navarro, Chief Operating Officer at Columbia Valley Community Health. Patient safety is our top priority, including providing care that just can't wait. With enhanced safety precautions, we want to ensure you that we're able to continue providing safe and efficient in-person care at our clinic. From in-car check-in, ongoing screening, immediate rooming, your family can get the safe care that they deserve here at Columbia Valley Community Health.
Bring the whole family to Siren Song Farms. Take in the beauty of 10,000 lavender plants and enjoy a bottle of Siren Song wine. Our farm is located in Chelan at 7 Tunnel Hill Road on Highway 97A between the Knaps Tunnel and Bear Mountain. Come for a visit, picnic on the lawn, or stroll through our lavender fields, rose garden, vineyards, olive grove, and pumpkin patch. Check out the chickens, honeybees, and more. Things are just getting going and growing at Siren Song Farms. Open Thursday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m.
All right, let's talk about sports. Let's go fishing. Lake Wenatchee will open for sockeye fishing on Monday. I like this. Fish counts over the Tumwater Dam have provided enough fish to hop into the lake, so the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife will open the season for the first time in at least 4 years. Anglers will be able to catch 4 sockeye per day. They have to be a minimum of 12 inches. You can't use bait, and all bull trout or Dolly Varden, those you got to throw back. In addition, the data limit to the upper Columbia River above Priest Rapids Dam is going to be increasing to 6 salmons a day, 4 of which can be sockeye salmon. Go online to the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife website and you'll get all the info that you need. The Mariners won a back-and-forth high-scoring affair against the Angels last night. 10-7 was the final. Kyle Seager had a very productive day at the plate. He went 3 for 4, had 3 RBIs. Dylan Moore provided the big hit in a 5-run 6th inning with a 3-run home run. Kyle Lewis also continued to deliver at the plate. He went 3 for 5 with a run and an RBI. Manager Scott Service was happy to see his club bounce back, considering they were down early in the game.
A nice win. I've come back a couple different times in that ball game against a team. Fun to watch the athleticism of our young players play out to third, I think 2 or 3 times in the one big inning we had. The defensive plays again have been fun to watch. We're learning more about our guys every day, and get a win tonight.
Justin Dunn made the start, was strong through 3 innings. Then he ran into trouble in the 4th inning. He said he felt good in his approach to the game, considering how tough the Angels are.
Yeah, I felt really good. Big goal today was knowing they're a very patient team, so staying on the attack, fill the zone up, make them put the ball in play, make them swing. Today was punch outs, but trying to get quick outs and be as effective as possible. Had a couple long ABs there in the beginning, but went out for the 4th, still felt good. I think I put a little too much emphasis on shutdown inning. Got a little timid and didn't really stay on the attack like I did the entire game before. But those are big league hitters. That's a really good lineup, and Shohei did a good job with that pitch.
Third baseman Kyle Seager's off to a good start this season. He's batting .333. He has 6 RBIs. He had 3 RBIs last night.
Hit hard. That's a base hit. That'll pick up a run. Mariners have a 1-0 lead. RBI for Kyle Seager, his 4th of this young season. That's his 6th hit.
Solid line drive, base hit into right field. First pitch fastball to him.
Good stroke by the veteran third baseman. And there's a base hit into the gap. Scoring easily is Crawford. Lewis to third. Kyle Seager with his 2nd RBI this evening. He's accounted for both runs for Seattle.
And he's able to get a fastball probably middle away. Drives it back up the middle. He's hit the ball hard a couple of times. Picked up a couple of RBIs for it. And another good situation for Kyle Seager.
Fly ball center field for Trout. And here comes J.P. Crawford. Mariners take the lead again, 8-7. 3 consecutive plate appearances with RBIs by the veteran Kyle Seager.
Mariners fans for a long time are used to seeing Kyle Seager always get off to a slow start, but starting the season in July, I think it's more the months with him, and he's been really good. Just doing what he does in the batter's box. Not trying to hit homers or anything, just having quality at bats. 3 more hits tonight, 3 more RBIs. It's really nice to see getting off to this kind of start. He's such a voice in our clubhouse, and you speak up more. You feel like you could take on even more of a leadership role when you're playing well. He's playing really well right now.
Mariners and Angels will play their rubber game with a 3-game series tonight. 6:40 first pitch. Marco Gonzalez will toe the rubber for the M's. Dylan Bundy gets the start for the Angels. Go to the scoreboard, the Les Schwab American League West scoreboard. From last night, German Marquez had 8 strikeouts over 6 innings to lead Colorado over Oakland 5-1. The Rockies pitching staff combined for 11 strikeouts on the day. Joey Gallo's 2-run home run sparked a 5-run rally in the bottom of the 8th. Texas knocks off Arizona 7-4. Edwin Rios hit a go-ahead 2-run home run in the top of the 13th. The Dodgers take down the Astros 4-2. The game could have ended in the 11th. Mookie Betts' RBI doubled in the top half of the inning, but Carlos Correa's RBI base hit tied it at 2 in the bottom of the 11th. So the Astros and the A's both lost. The Mariners beat the Angels. That tightens things up just a little bit. As you can see in the American League West, the Astros and A's 3-3, Texas 2-3, Seattle and the Angels 2-4. Masked up, socially distanced, the Seahawks showed up for day 1 of training camp on Wednesday. What did it look like? Well, it looked like no other start in training camp that we can ever remember. Take a look.
Get back.
Thanks to the Seahawks for providing us that video. What happens as the rest of training camp begins to reopen, it'll look different as usual as the days and weeks ahead coming up in Renton. A reminder what's coming up tonight, broadcast-wise here on the NCAA Live channel. It's Thursday. That means hockey night. Wenatchee Wild taking on the Salmon Arm Silverbacks from last October. You can watch that tonight at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow is a repeat of last July's matchup between the Apple Sox and the Bells out of Bellingham. That's at 6:30. Cashmere and Cascade Girls will meet in CTL Soccer Saturday at 2, and that'll be followed by the rebroadcast of the race back on July 11th at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. You can watch it right here at 6 o'clock Saturday on the NCAA Live channel, and those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Thursday. Today is National Chili Dog Day. Not going to do that one. Today is National Whistleblower Day. Today is National Father-in-Law Day, but we're not going to do any of those. We're going to do National Cheesecake Day because I love cheesecake, especially with cherries on top. Oh, man. People all over the world love cheesecake. Started in Europe. The ancient Greeks actually came up with the first general idea of how to make cheesecake. The texture and the ingredients basically started with the ancient Greeks, and then the Romans picked it up from there, and they added their own twist and they modernized it a little bit. And then the English took what the Greeks and the Romans did, and they made it even more acceptable to the masses. And finally, when it came to the United States, we added our own touch, and boom, cheesecake was born. Have yourself a cheesecake party, and if you have a cheesecake party, invite me. To me, cheesecake is the quintessential dessert. Whenever you were eating out, back when we were eating out, the waitress would always say, don't forget to make room for cheesecake, and I would always, don't forget to make room for cheesecake. Love it. Happy National Cheesecake Day, because the internet told me to. 33 minutes after the hour today in history. There were a lot of mistakes made in the Civil War. A lot of them. This is one of the biggest ones ever. July 30th, 1864, 156 years ago today. The idea came from Lieutenant General Henry Pleasance, who was a mining engineer in civilian life. He came up with the idea of digging a long mine shaft under a Confederate line to a fort filled with Confederate soldiers and then detonate 320 kegs of gunpowder, and if everything worked out right, it would blow up the fort. Well, initially, the plan worked out fantastically. When they blew up the fort, 278 Confederate soldiers were killed instantly. Unfortunately for the Union, everything after that was a complete fiasco. It was a disaster. The troops stormed into the crater, and they got stuck in the crater, and they couldn't get out, and it became a turkey shoot. It was a massacre, was essentially what it was. 504 were killed in the crater alone. General Ulysses S. Grant called it the saddest affair he witnessed during the entire Civil War, and he saw nothing but hardship and blood and guts during the Civil War. The famous Battle of the Crater took place on this date 156 years ago today. If you've ever seen the movie Jaws, you know the story of the USS Indianapolis, the famous scene when they're in the ship and Quint talks about the Indianapolis. They had just delivered, it was a top secret mission to deliver the parts of the atomic bomb that would be dropped in Hiroshima in just a few weeks' time, and on their way back, a Japanese submarine sank the USS Indianapolis. The ship sank in 12 minutes. 12 minutes. About 300 sailors went down with the ship. 574 sailors would die over the next 4 days as they bobbed and floated around in the South Pacific. They would die from exposure, dehydration, saltwater poisoning, and shark attacks. Only 316 of the 1,195 crew members survived. It took 4 days for the Navy to figure out what had happened, and it happened 75 years ago today. Happy 55th birthday to Medicare and Medicaid. It was on this date that President Lyndon Baines Johnson signed the Social Security Act of 1965, which established Medicare and Medicaid. As you see there, the signing ceremony took place at the Harry S. Truman Presidential Library in Independence, Missouri, because Harry Truman was the first one to propose way back in 1945 when he was the president. He said free medical care should be given to old people and Social Security should pay for it. It was a radical idea in 1945. It became reality 40 years later. By the way, the very first 2 Medicare cards ever handed out, the first one went to Bess Truman and the second one went to Harry Truman. Medicare and Medicaid became the law of the land 55 years ago today. 54 years ago today, you would think that the country that invented soccer would have much more success in the World Cup, but it was on this date, England defeating West Germany 4-2 to win the 1966 World Cup at Wembley Stadium. It remains the only time that England, which is the birthplace of soccer, they're soccer crazy in Great Britain. It was the only time that they won the World Cup. In fact, it was the only time they even hosted the World Cup. And by the way, the 1966 World Cup final between West Germany and England remains to this day the most watched television event in Great Britain history. More than weddings, more than Princess Di's funeral, more people watched that than any event ever. And finally, 45 years ago today, Jimmy Hoffa, please call your answering service. Mr. Jimmy Hoffa, please call your answering service. Jimmy Hoffa disappeared from the parking lot of a restaurant in Bloomfield Hills, Detroit, Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit, about 2:30 in the afternoon. He was supposed to meet a couple of unsavory characters for lunch. They didn't show up. Jimmy Hoffa disappeared. He was never seen or heard from again. I have it by a confidential source that Jimmy Hoffa is in fact alive and managing a Pizza Hut in Milwaukee. Mr. Hoffa, please call your answering service. Birthdays on this July 30th, one of the half dozen most important people of the 20th century, Henry Ford. He created the automobile that was affordable for everybody. The automobile was an expensive curiosity until Henry Ford came around, and then he figured out, if we make them cheaper and we pay my workers more, they'll buy cars. The Model T, of course, revolutionized not only American industry, but revolutionized transportation in this country. He became, of course, as you might imagine, one of the richest men in the world. He created what they call Fordism, which was mass production of inexpensive goods coupled with high wages for workers. It wasn't just his mark on this country is actually phenomenal. And whenever you drive by a car dealership, the idea of franchises, a franchise system that would sell only your cars, was developed by Henry Ford. He eventually invented the 5 days a week, 40-hour work week with paid vacation and sick days. Henry Ford. Yeah, he was probably an anti-Semite. We're going to let that one go because he's been dead since 1947. Born in the state in 1890, Charles Dillon Casey Stengel lived a long and fruitful life. Died in 1975 at the age of 85. Won 9 World Series, 2 as a player, and 7 as manager of the New York Yankees from 1949 to 1960. They won 10 American League pennants, one of baseball's great characters, including some of the famous quotes. Good pitching will always stop good hitting, and vice versa. Casey Stengel once said, I heard it can't be done, but it doesn't always work. The secret to managing is to keep guys who hate you away from the guys who are undecided. Casey Stengel says you have to have a catcher or else the ball will roll to the backstop every time. Most people my age are dead at the present time, and my favorite Casey Stengel quote, there comes a time in every man's life, and I've had plenty of them. The great Casey Stengel, born in the state in 1890. Happy 81st birthday to Peter Bogdanovich. He hasn't been doing much lately. He made The Last Picture Show, which is one of the greatest movies ever made. Paper Moon, a very good movie. What's Up, Doc, with Ryan O'Neal and Barbra Streisand. And then he's been doing nothing much of anything, but he's still a great director. Peter Bogdanovich is 81 years old today. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger is 73. 73 years old today. Arnold is. Happy 73rd to Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm just happy I spelt his name correctly. Christopher Nolan. 34 total Oscar nominations. That's pretty darn impressive. It helps when you direct and write and produce the Dark Knight trilogy and The Prestige and Inception and Dunkirk and Interstellar. Christopher Nolan, the great director, is 50 years old today. And happy 46th birthday to Hilary Swank. She has 2 Academy Awards, a couple of Golden Globes Awards. She's got a bunch of awards, and it also helps that she's a pretty good actress. Hilary Swank is 46 years old today. We're going to take a break. Mike McNally's got an opinion. Then my conversation with Dr. Shawna Bais from Paws and Claws. Let's keep your pets safe in this heat wave, shall we? Shawna's got some good advice coming up. You're watching Wake Up and
I work in healthcare, and we give all of our employees free Works memberships. Why? Because health is important to us. And when people are healthier, they're better at their jobs, but they're also better at life. And that's who we are, and that's who Works is. Works is not just a gym. It's a place, it's an organization that actually celebrates health.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family. Green Motion e-bikes is located right downtown on the corner of Palouse and Wenatchee Avenue.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, you ever think about this? You have a girlfriend or a wife, and sometimes you don't treat them very nice. You figure, hey, this is my private life. It's nobody's business if I'm a jerk now and then. Besides, you think the wife, the girlfriend, she's sometimes less than pleasant herself. So it's her fault if I get mad at her and call her names or something like that. Well, let me tell you. There's a good chance that someone's therapist knows all about you. I mean, you never know. If you ask any mental health professional, they'll be able to tell you that they have a client or two whose significant other has no idea they've sought therapy. I tell you, that's something that maybe you should think about. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I do's to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Chelan, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
Save Mart remains open to serve our community with its huge selection of furniture, mattresses, and appliances. The parts and service department is ready to make sure you have what you need to keep your household functioning during these unusual times. Wenatchee Power Sports is open, featuring sales, parts, and service for Yamaha, KTM, and Polaris products. See Wenatchee Power Sports on GS Center Road for all your power sports needs. Green Motion e-bikes are fun for the whole family. Starting under $1,000, there's an e-bike for all riders. Green Motion e-bikes, now open on 7th South Wenatchee Avenue.
And we are back on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. Imagine what it's like if you're just a regular Homo sapien human being to be out and about in the heat of the day in this incredible heat wave we've been having. And you can wear shorts and a t-shirt and be somewhat tolerable. Well, imagine what it's like to have a jacket on or a fur coat. That's what our pets are dealing with in this hot, hot time. And here to talk about the safety of your pets is our friend from Paws and Claws, no stranger to this program. Dr. Shawna Bais is joining me. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
It's good to see you. We were talking off screen. You had to deal with this yesterday.
Yeah, it's been a really common problem. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize that the heat came on pretty rapidly this week, and trying to make sure they're adjusting and getting their animals in a safe place. And so it's been a big issue we've been having for sure.
So what's the first thing for those people who may not know, because dogs and cats are so good at hiding when they don't feel very well. What's the first thing that people need to look for that, hey, my dog is, we'll talk about dogs specifically because they have their tendency to, they're more prone to the kind of heat issues than cats are. Cats can get out of the heat occasionally. Dogs maybe not so much. What do they need to be looking at?
Well, I think one, people just need to be proactive and think about the issues involved first of all. I think a lot of people just don't realize, hot cars and even dog houses. People think, oh, I have shade out there for my dog. It's going to be okay. That dog house can get really hot. And so just being proactive and thinking through some of those issues before they occur would be the best thing. Prevention's always better than having a dog that's having some heat stroke or trying to treat it. So, trying to think through air conditioning. We all love air conditioning. So making sure your pet can be indoors if they can. If not, that they have shade, water, all those kind of things. But if you are having an issue with your animal, usually you'll see them panting excessively. Sometimes they'll start drooling. Sometimes they'll vomit. By the time you get to where they're collapsing, it's a major medical emergency for sure.
Say you just, for whatever reason, you can't get the dog inside. You have to go to work. Your wife has to go to work. First of all, how much water is necessary to keep the dog hydrated? And what happens if the water gets warm?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. It all depends on the size of the dog. You might have multiple dogs out there. You might just have a little Chihuahua versus a St. Bernard. So, how much water is a little bit variable. But you want to have enough fresh, cool water at the start of the day to try to make sure that they have plenty there. And quite honestly, we recommend a shallow pool for some dogs so they can go wading. Something that can cool them off during the day. Some people have actually water fountains that have water that's circulating all the time, different ways to do that. And keeping the water in the shade, where it's not in the heat of the sun.
And that's a great idea. I mean, just those little plastic kiddie pools, even dogs that don't normally take to water, they'll take to that.
Yeah, they can at least go wading. You don't want it so deep they're going to end up over their heads or something, but at least they can get their feet wet, cool off a little bit.
Are more breeds susceptible to the heat than other breeds?
For sure. Short-nosed dogs, what we call brachycephalic. So those would be pugs, bulldogs, boxers. There's lots of breeds that have that short nose. They can't cool off like other dogs, and so they are much more susceptible to heat stroke and overheating.
What about those folks who, hey, I get home from work at 5:30 and I always take Rex for a walk so Rex can do his business. Yeah. The sidewalks are hot, asphalt is hot. How do you handle that?
Yeah, really recommend that if you're going to walk your dog, you do it early morning or late evening, or keep them in a cooler place on the grass. Asphalt, people don't realize, can burn their paw pads quite badly, and they're closer to the ground than we are. And so that asphalt, that heat radiating up, is going to affect them a lot more. And so really recommend no asphalt. It's going to cause some issues.
And we've been concentrating this conversation on dogs, but let's talk about cats. They're just as susceptible. Cats, like dogs, are starting out with a jacket on to begin with.
For sure. So same kind of things. Some people will keep their cats in an area that's going to overheat easily. You want to make sure if they can get inside air conditioning or be able to get into a nice shady area, things like that. Cats will definitely try to choose the coolest place if they can, but you have to give them that opportunity.
Dogs are dogs. They're going to be naturally curious animals anyway. If you say my dog is never an indoor dog, it's always an outside dog, can I bring him inside in the air conditioning when I'm gone? Can I put him in a kennel or in a small cage?
Well, that's a tough question because it depends on the dog a lot.
Right.
You know, some dogs are going to be more comfortable and more adaptable to that than others. Some dogs are going to chew and dig and get stressed out in that situation. So you want to do it when you're there and able to observe your dog, make sure your dog's in a safe place. They can't hurt themselves or hurt someone else or something else.
What else is of concern of yours when we talk about pets and heat that we haven't touched on?
Good question. You know, there's probably just a lot of areas as far as some people don't realize some dogs have predisposed issues, heart failure. You know, animals with heart disease are going to have a lot more issues with the heat. Obese animals, so anyone that has a little extra weight on there. So just making sure that people are aware of their particular animal's medical conditions would make a big difference too.
And we've talked about this before. You'd be amazed about how hot your car can get.
Oh yeah.
If it's parked either at work or at home and you don't have access to a garage or a carport where there's some shade, your car, the interior of your car can get incredibly hot very quickly.
Oh yeah, a couple of minutes. People think, I'm just going to run in the store and grab something really quick. They'll be fine. Even with the windows cracked, that car can get so hot so quickly. Yeah.
So basically, if you can avoid it, don't take Rex to the store or run in your errands. Don't do it.
No, not the time to have. I mean, everyone thinks it's fun to have, and the pets love it too. They want to go for a car ride, but it's just safety first. You have to think through. It's not the time to be doing it.
Any other animals that might have heat that are basically outdoor animals? Horses, cattle, sheep, things like that.
Yeah, you know, people tend to think that the larger animals are not susceptible to this, but they still need the same things: fresh water, shade, be able to get out of the sun. Things like that for sure.
And we've talked about this before. In fact, we've run a series of commercials with a good doctor here. Rattlesnake bites. People take the dogs out on the trail, and the dogs are, hey, what's that over there? And the next thing you know,
yeah,
you can do some advanced care, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's interesting. I've had more rattlesnake bites this year than I can remember in the past probably 5 or 6 years, and I think a couple of reasons. One, people are getting out a lot more right now. So, you know, they're spending more time at home, so they're getting out with their animals, hiking more, and so they're getting exposed to the rattlesnakes a lot more. But really recommend rattlesnake vaccine, can help prevent some of that reaction, give us a better chance of saving these animals. And then just being cautious where you're hiking and being aware where your dog is and what's happening for sure.
My guess is, and I'm spitballing here, doctor, but and we know this as a fact, because the Humane Society has told us adoptions of dogs and cats are way up.
Yeah.
Because of the COVID-19 pandemic. People are staying home and staying safe, and they want companionship while they're having to work at home, which means probably good news for you, I'm guessing. You know, it's...
Yeah,
are you busy?
We've been busier than we've, quite honestly, this last month has been incredibly busy. You know, thanks to our wonderful doctors and staff have been doing a wonderful job, quite honestly, for us. But I do think it's more people are staying home. They're spending time with their animals a lot more, spending time outdoors more. So rattlesnake bites, hit by cars, dog fights, traumas, things like that are actually been more this last month than we're used to.
One more question for the good doctor before we cut you loose, because you're really busy. People are drawn to the water because of the heat. They're drawn to rivers and lakes and streams. Dogs are very similar, especially dogs that labs and things who just love the water. You got to keep an eye on your dog if you're going to go down to the river, and Rex can get in trouble real quick.
Oh yeah, you know, people don't realize that not all dogs are good swimmers, just like people. Some of them can get tired easily out there. They can drown. They can get injuries, things like that. So, you know, even if you're out boating, having a life jacket on your dog, good idea. And just being careful that they don't overdo it. Some dogs will just swim too long and get too tired out there, throwing the stick, things like that. They think it's so much fun, they don't realize how tired they are.
Yep. Doctor, it's always good to see you. Anything else that's on your mind while I have you here? Because I don't get to see you as often as I used to.
No, it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate being here. Thank you so much.
Paws and claws. Again, take care. A little common sense. Never hurt anybody. And if you want to put yourself in your dog shoes about 3:30 in the afternoon, put on some long underwear and a jacket and stand outside the sun for about 5 minutes, and then you know what your dog is going through if you don't take care of it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Things can spiral real quick, and you don't want that to happen. Paws and Claws, always my favorite. Dr. Shawna, good to see you.
Thank you so much.
You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
I'm Dr. Wayne Latimer. I'm a chiropractic physician. I have postgraduate certifications in both whiplash, trauma and rehab, as well as sports medicine. The location is great. The light and the visibility, the 17-foot ceilings are fantastic. You can go into a lot of clinics, and it's very clinical. People really like the spa environment, so my whole premise was take a spa environment, add the very serious rehab, and give people an enjoyable way to get better over time.
At Earthwise Pet, we take an all-natural approach to wellness and nutrition. Our professional certified groomers were trained by the best in the Pacific Northwest. Our staff here at Earthwise Pet are all certified in pet nutrition. We are here to help you select the perfect food, supplement, and anything else you may need to make sure your pet is living its best and most healthy life. Earthwise Pet, Nutrition Center and Wellness Spa. Online or in the store, we are here for you.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue.
Currently, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is open for dine-in and take-out. Owner Justin Hefner and his staff are just as excited as you to get back to their regularly scheduled full menu, music, and poker. So stay tuned. Meanwhile, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is serving a limited menu for lunch and dinner, dine-in or take-out.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning has been proudly serving the Wenatchee Valley for over 35 years. And just as Dick's has been there for you, they have also been an essential part of our community, supporting local youth sports all year long and your Wenatchee Wild.
Thanks for your support. Thanks, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, for all your support. Thank you.
Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, your local, independent, trained comfort specialist. Call 884-6444 today.
And we are back. Got about 3 minutes left in this program. As you can see, just a couple of popcorn-shaped clouds out there. Already 75 degrees, and we're going to top off 30 degrees warmer than that. Record high today? I think we're going to get there. Here's a slide from the National Weather Service talking about our record highs and our forecast high. So our record high on this date, July 30th, 103 degrees, and we set that twice in 2014 and 2003. And as you can see, our forecast high today of 105 would break that record. And if we get to 105 tomorrow, and that's in the forecast, that would tie the record set back in 1971. So it is going to be continued hot. Now, we only hit 98 yesterday, which was a little below what the National Weather Service was predicting. But again, all of these measurements, relative humidity, dew point, winds, temperature, heat index, all of that stuff is measured up at Pangbourne Memorial Airport. Down here in the valley floor, it certainly felt a little warmer than 98. Felt like 99 is what it felt like. From the National Weather Service, here we go. It is going to be hot. Excessive heat. In fact, the excessive heat warning remains into effect until 8 o'clock tomorrow night for dangerously hot conditions. And on top of all that, we have a fire weather watch. Remains in effect today through Friday. And we could see a dry thunderstorm tonight. It's a slight possibility. It's about a 20% chance of a dry thunderstorm, so dry lightning in the foothills around the Wenatchee Valley and up maybe towards the Aniat, those kind of places that might be a little susceptible to that. We're keeping a very close eye on that. We do not want a dry lightning strike, a lightning strike with accompanying thunderstorms. That ain't too bad. Thunderstorm might put it out, but a dry lightning strike. And combine that, it's going to be a little breezy on Friday afternoon and Friday night, and it's a south wind. It's going to be a hot wind. It's going to feel like a Santa Ana wind. So 105 today. Look at the overnight low tonight, only 76. We do it again on Friday, so we could break a new record today, tie a new record on Friday if these temperature predictions hold true from the National Weather Service. A little bit cooler on Saturday, all things being relative, still triple digits. A little bit cooler still on Sunday, but still hot. Then we cool down to a little more comfortable, 90s anyway. And that's it for us. Please watch tomorrow's show for the last day of July. It's a very special edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. That's all I'm going to tell you. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.